Okay, guys. Kimberly Atkins Store said some true facts today on Nicole Wallace's show. Let me let you listen.
Right now, instead of rallying behind the president or even saying, I support the president or whoever the nominee will be, and in this moment, you have Democrats, not just privately, but publicly bickering and fighting with one another about what should be done now, this far past the primary. When what is the alternative? Nobody is asking. The question is, okay, what if Biden steps aside? What now? Have we seen how Democrats handle open conventions or anything close to that? Do we remember 1968 when Johnson decided not to run again? How did that end? That ended with the election of Richard Nixon. Did we see 1980 when jittery Democrats thought maybe that Ted Kennedy can come to the rescue? How did that end? With the inauguration of Ronald Reagan. Even in 2016, not an open convention, Hillary Clinton won it. I was there in Philadelphia when you had so many Bernie Sanders delegates booing and crying and vetching as she accepted the nomination, many of those doing things like voting for Jill Stein. And how did that end? With the election of Donald Trump. Jill Stein got more votes in Michigan than the difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in that state. Democrats don't do that well. What Democrats need to do is take a page from Republicans and say, we understand the existential threat that we are facing. We are seeing a presidential candidate who already is saying he will be a dictator from day one and who believes, falsely, but he believes it, that the Supreme Court just gave him absolute immunity. We have a president who cognitively bragged about being able to say person, man, woman, camera, TV, but who stood on television and told everyone to inject disinfectant and is now doing campaign rallies about, I don't know, electrical currents and sharks. And nobody is doing an hour-long press conference asking him about that, the way we saw the hour-long press conference asking 1,000 ways about Joe Biden's cold. Democrats need to buck up, look at the threat, and fight against that threat and stop fighting against each other. Our democracy depends on it, and time is up.
Kim, I'm going to need you to say a little more.
I understand what people saw in that debate. And I understand exactly what Matt said. What that did was confirm a narrative. But who spun that narrative about Joe Biden not being fit for the job? Republicans did. His opponents did. And what Democrats are doing now is confirming that based on their reactions to what's happening. Listen, I get donors with all their money who get jittery when polls move. And I even also get elected lawmakers who are so focused on their own reelections and being down ballot from Joe Biden that they may not be acting completely rationally. But we need everyone, including the press, to speak very clearly about the threat that we are facing. And that is a threat to democracy itself. Have we forgotten that Donald Trump fomented an insurrection? Have we forgotten that he has been found by a court to be a sexual abuser? Have we forgotten all of the racist, xenophobic, and nonsensical things he has said? Have we forgotten how fearful he was when we were when he was at the helm of a pandemic response? And most importantly, for Democrats, have we forgotten that they have a candidate who has had a successful administration, who has seen wages rise, who has seen inflation fall? Yes, it's not fast enough for everybody. It's not perfect. Our economy is not perfect. But I remember during the Trump administration when every economist was promising us that we would have a post-pandemic recession. Guess what? We didn't have any. Guess what? People had their student loans forgiven. Guess what? We have fewer border crossings right now when Republicans refuse to back border security because Donald Trump told them not to. We also have a vice president who we haven't even mentioned yet, Kamala Harris, who stands ready should anything, God forbid, happen to Joe Biden. She stands ready to step in. She will stand ready to step in next term, too. And all of this talk about him stepping aside because he can't perform 4 more years is tremendously disrespectful to her. What I want is for Democrats to get a grip and to fight. That is what this moment needs, not hand-wringing and public bickering about this.
I need you to say one more thing about Kamala Harris. I see something in some of the reporting that a benefit of the doubt she never gets as vice president, which is newfound confidence, not just in her governing abilities, her championing and warning about reproductive freedoms, but of her as a candidate, which is amazing, Kim, to your point.
That is absolutely right. I mean, the galvanization that this White House did in the aftermath of Dobbs and ensuring that the administration did everything within its power to protect the reproductive rights of people and to organize with governors in states that believe in reproductive rights to give them everything they need to do the same, such as, in the state of Massachusetts, stockpiling mifepristone before it got banned. Was driven largely by Vice President Kamala Harris. She is on the job. She is visible. I think a lot of reasons people are saying, where is she, was in part because you have a news media that hasn't been focused on her. For whatever reason, they have made their decision not to do that. She is there. She is doing the job, and she will continue to do the job, and she will continue to be there as a partner in every bit of the successes in this administration to carry them on. Again, God forbid if anything happened to Joe Biden. We have seen her attacked from the right with, misogynoir assumptions, again, confirming a narrative that somehow she is not qualified, she is not able because she is a woman of color. That is not true. And so Democrats who know her, who have seen her at work, can also get behind her and tell that narrative too, as opposed to publicly fretting. I need Democrats to fight. If Democrats had half of the fight in them that MAGA Republicans had backing Donald Trump, we'd be in a different situation.
Look, here's where I'm at, and I've said it before and I will say it again. When Republicans backbite about having a felon who sexually abused a woman inside Bergdorf Goodman's and owes New York $500 million because he defrauded the taxpayers of New York and the insurance companies of New York, when Republicans freak out about that guy being their nominee, I think we can freak out about Biden. The reality is Republicans are not good at anything except standing by their man. They don't care if Donald Trump kills a person in the streets. They're going to stand by him. The Democrats are ready to jump ship. Okay, do it. Y'all just tell me who the nominee is going to be. Let me know when you guys are finished fighting amongst yourselves who I got to vote for in November to keep Hitler out the White House. That's all I want to know. Who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. Y'all do your thing. Play in traffic all you want in front of these Republicans, acting a fool in front of these people instead of privately declaring your stuff. But don't text me no more, because I'm not taking no more of these texts. Just let me know when you guys are finished figuring it out, Democrats, because I know y'all the freak out people. Go ahead and freak out, have your conversation, and then let me know who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. That's it. I'm done. Oh, and by the way, if it's Biden in a coma, I'm going to vote for Biden in a coma. I don't even really particularly like the guy. A lot of his policies, don't like him. He's not Donald Trump, right? Yeah. Hitler, White House. We keeping him out. Keeping Project 2025 out. That's all I care about. Up and down the ballot, from the rooter to the tutor. School board, all the way up to White House and everything in between. Governors, members of Congress. I'm just going to vote all the way down to keep these people out. The Project 2025 thing is the whole Republican Party. At this point, it's not about Biden. It is not about him. It's above me now. There's a Best Western next door. It is about keeping Donald Trump and his Project 2025 friends out of power. That's it for me, y'all. Y'all let me know what you think. And another thing. I've always got another thing. You guys do know that in 2020, y'all Democrats had choices of young people. You had a young LGBTQ guy, Mayor Pete. You had a Latino. You had Kamala Harris, you had Liz Warren, you had all these choices that were all younger than Biden, fresher and newer than Biden. And you know who y'all picked to be the president and the nominee? Joe Biden. He beat all the young people. So yes, we have a gerontocracy problem on the Democratic side. Way too many of these oldie goldies that don't seem to want to sit down and retire. But when given the choice between the young and fresh and Joe Biden, y'all picked Joe Biden. That was what you picked. So he's in there because Democrats actually picked him in the first place. So just keep that in mind, that you've been given options in the past, and this is what you picked. And nobody stepped up to choose to run against him in the primary. So once again, Democrats went out and voted and picked. If you try to undo that choice, like 57 million some odd Democrats voted in these primaries, so what are you going to do? You're going to just tell them, F off, we're going to pick somebody different that's not him, or Kamala Harris, who was on that ticket too, on those ballots? That's not democracy. This choice has been made. And so again, unless he decides to walk away, this is your choice. It's like when you go to a wedding. You got chicken or fish. You can eat chicken or fish or just be hungry. Or like when I was growing up in my house, it's what mom made for dinner or go to bed. Those are your choices. You don't always get choices that you love. You get what mom made for dinner or take your ass to bed. And in this case, it's either what mom made for dinner or Hitler. I'm voting for whoever ain't Hitler, and it ain't him. And I'm going all the way down that ballot, rooted to the Tudor school board up to the White House. This is about power and about picking not Hitler. That's it. That's it. That's me. Okay, now I'm really done. Bye.